Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes! Beast.
We did it, Randy. We made it.
What a day.
You're telling me.
Oh my God. What a week.
What a week.
Greetings and salutations. You are tuned in to Milkshake Scholar Season 2. And I'm your host, Randy Winston. And today, the first episode of Season 2 during the pandemic, from my pandemic kitchen, I have the privilege and honor of bringing on my friend, Michelle Bennett, but she goes by Mish, who is one of my favorite comedians in New York City.
Wow.
She's also a writer and very humble about it. Mish, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I talk about an honor and a privilege. It's all mine.
Thank you for coming. And for folks that don't know, me and Mish have shot this twice. I don't care if I'm breaking the fourth wall. We're shooting.
Okay, we're mentioning it.
Yes.
Let's address the elephant in the dang room. Is that this is a dang room report?
I actually shot this with Mish 2 weeks ago, maybe, and I did not have a microphone. I did not have a webcam. I did not have lights. We just shot it on the laptop, cold turkey. And once everything came in, I'm looking at the other episodes, and I said, Mish, we got to do this again if you want to. And Mish agreed. So,
of course.
Thank you.
I can't believe I'm in the presence of your Dutch oven.
Oh yes, Zion is in the building. He is Zion has been here for every episode and will be all season.
Yeah.
And you know what? Almost everyone has said hello to Zion.
Everyone. I mean, he's quite famous from your Instagram stories.
Yes. That's
he's
my
celeb.
That's my homie. I'm telling you, I almost created an Instagram page just for Zion, and I thought that is too much work, and it's a penny. I don't have time for that during a penny. So,
oh, surely not.
Yeah. Mish, I have something that I've been wanting to ask you for a long time.
Since the re-record? Since the original recording.
And it is about and it is about TV shows.
Okay.
I need to know, and I know I'm only asking you this because I know that like you're a geek or like a nerd when it comes to shows, TV shows, and comics and stuff. So
I am guilty.
The childhood show that is off limits to remakes. And I'll tell you my show first. That is off.
All right. Yeah. Give me a frame of reference.
I mean, if they ever try to touch Family Matters, we're gonna have problems. They better not.
I think
Family Matters.
I hate to break it to you, but I think that is in prime territory to be rebooted.
Rich, why are you doing this to me?
I mean, I'm not making it, Randy. I'm just preparing you for the worst.
That in a different world.
Any sitcom, I feel as though.
That
especially because Family Matters is also that's the one. One of the ones that's centered around a Black family, right?
Yeah.
They're 100%. Oh, and the dad's a cop, right?
But he's. I think
the dad's the cop from Die Hard too, right?
You want to?
They're so gonna reboot that because of like the political climate, and they're gonna be like, well, we fixed racism again with this reboot of this sitcom that's centered around a Black family, and the patriarch of which is a Black cop.
Whoever.
That is so what stupid Hollywood would do.
Don't touch that. Please don't. That in a different world. Please don't touch a different world. Just leave it alone. It's perfect. Don't touch it. Just leave it. So your show.
I'm sorry, that was very mean of me, but but like now that you bring it up, I genuinely was like, I feel like they will do that.
I mean, you're preparing me for the worst. I appreciate it.
I didn't want you to be blindsided. So I feel like it's already happened.
Is it Saved by the Bell?
No, but I heard that remake is very good.
Really?
Like I heard it's a joke machine. Yeah. And the way that they did it is really smart. I mean, I think like the person who one of the head writers, Dwayne Perkins, is very funny. He's very very funny comedian. And he's like our generation, like he's very much a millennial, so he kind of like knew what to do with it. Like I don't think they were revamping it for the sake of revamping it. I think it has a point of view.
Okay. All right.
Um, I guess I would say, honestly, I feel like I would say like SpongeBob, but it's still going,
Ooh. Okay.
and I just know that the new episodes are not as funny as like what I grew up with. Or
No.
yeah. Or like fair if they brought back like Jimmy Neutron or like Fairly Odd Parents or like that
Ooh.
that Murderer's Row of Nicktoons,
A
I'd be upset.
recess. If they touch recess.
If they touched Recess, if they touched As Told by Ginger,
You know what? You know what, Mish?
I'd be
If
upset.
if they touch recess, I might have to go I might have to go throw hands.
Whoever did it,
Go to the
it's
studio.
on site.
I mean, listen, Mish, everyone who knows me has I think I've talked about this with most people on Twitter.
Who's your
But
favorite character? I'm a
on,
Spinelli girl, obviously.
I actually do like Spinelli a lot.
Would you be mad if I played Spinelli in the reboot?
Okay, listen.
Now, now you're in a little bit of a pickle.
See, I wouldn't be mad at you. I would be mad at the people,
Yeah,
like
because
the
a gig's a
decision.
gig, hon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta take what you. Hey, take it, take the gig.
I think I'd be a great Spinelli too.
That would be pretty dope, actually. Oh, there was something I was gonna tell you, Mish. Oh, two things. One, I met someone from the Saved by the Bell cast, the old Saved by the Bell cast, and this was during the run.
Okay.
And they were in Atlanta. I was at a Chuck E. Cheese, and there's this black guy. He played one of the nerds that reappeared on anytime they did the nerds, and it was a black guy
Okay,
with
so we're not
glasses.
talking main cast.
We're not talking main
We're
cast,
talking recurring extra,
but
featured extra.
here was a special thing about him. His name was Randy. His name was Randy.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
It's all coming together. So that means that you can play the new Randy in the reboot, is what I'm sensing.
I am Mish. What I'm saying is, if there's anyone that made Saved by the Bell who's watching, I am completely offended that you did not reach out to me. I could have been the new Randy.
That's pretty messed up.
Yep, pretty messed up, but it is what it is. I will say, back to what we were talking about with Recess. If I think the same level of anger if they rebooted Recess would be the same level of anger that I have for D&D from Game of Thrones. If I ever see them in these streets, it's on site.
Yeah,
it's on site.
Yeah,
you
mean Benioff and Weiss?
Mm-hmm. They ruined the greatest TV, like what could have been one of the the greatest series ever, and they ruined it.
Yeah. Have you? What did we talk about that? Were you still at when the eighth season came out, like the final one?
Yeah.
Because I remember my team would have like round tables about it every time, and I remember being like, "This is bad." I remember being like, "This is really bad writing," and everyone was like, "I don't know, I'm excited," and I'm like, "This is trash."
It was so bad. It was so bad that there were children on Twitter writing what they should have done after the episode or during the episode. Actually, they're like, "Oh, they should have done this," and then it was a thread of what should have happened in season.
And the
8.
children were right, and that's why children are the future.
That's why children are the future, Mish.
Okay.
Mish, tell me something.
Okay.
So I'm a Gemini. You're a Gemini.
Yeah, guilty.
But Mish, I think my relationship to Gemini membership is different from yours.
As in, it's full of shame, and mine is characterized by pride.
How'd you know?
Because I know you, and I know me.
So, Mish, how on a scale of 1 to 10, how seriously do you take your Gemini membership? Because I'm going to tell you that I'm probably a 4 or a 5, and it's because
Mm.
I don't understand signs.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, here's this. You've actually pulled on a fun thread here because like I feel like I take my Gemini membership at a 10. How serious do I take astrology? A 6 or a 7.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
I think astrology is so fun and I like love it and I love finding out people's signs and like all this stuff because I think astrology is like Eastern philosophy, right? Like it's like a lot of like Eastern cultures, like Chinese cultures and stuff, are there's like a zodiac. Obviously, there's the Chinese zodiac, and there's like numerology and like all this stuff. And like it's a fun art form, and like I think it's like emerged in a lot of queer spaces because like Western religions don't are very exclusive, right, to women, to LGBTQ, to not white people in other cultures, and not Eurocentric cultures. So when people are really mean about astrology, I'm like, okay, you can chill. Cause like, you don't have to get mad at it, and you don't think you know what I mean. But at the same time, if you're really serious about astrology and you're calling it a fucking science, you know what I mean? Like you are going way too hard as well because it's like any other religion where you just take what you want, and like me reading a horoscope and it being vague but me seeing myself in it is the same thing as someone reading a Bible verse and getting what they need out of that Bible verse, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just different forms of faith and like different ways to look at yourself in the world and how you fit into it and how to maybe be a better person. So that's why I'm like a 6 or a 7, because if something doesn't fit, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to cause me any cognitive dissonance. But I really do identify with the Gemini thing. Like that's like my main link to it, is that whenever there's like not even a horoscope, but like all of the personality traits of a Gemini, like I have like ding 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 ding. You know what I mean? And I
Same.
love being, as a Gemini slash narcissist, I love when people are like, Geminis suck. And I love being like, well, either way you slice it, like we're iconic, because I don't know, all of like the best artists
Mm-hmm.
of our time are Geminis.
All
Like
Geminis. All
it's,
Geminis.
yeah, a lot of iconic serial killers. Either way either way you slice it, again, iconic,
And
star status.
you know what? I do kind of that. There's a part of me that does love when people are like, "Oh, you're a Gemini," and I think it's because
Yeah,
to
you know
some
there is, Randy.
some people think I'm mysterious, and that's fine. Some
Oh,
people
look
think
at that little smirk. That's fine.
some people think I'm mysterious, and so they're always like, "Oh, you have that other side to you that we don't know about," and I kind of play that up a bit. I'll play that up a bit. The other thing, and you'll find this very interesting. I'm a twin. I have an actual twin.
I knew that about you, Randy.
Uh-huh. And so I think there's like sometimes I'll do that thing where people are like, "Oh, you're a Gemini, so you have two sides," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, my sister has the other side." So
That's cute.
yeah,
That's a little fun thing you can do
yeah,
at
and
parties.
and seriously, she's it's like, I know some people who watch this will find this hard to believe, but she is way more outgoing than me. I'm way more like chill and private, secluded. So yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think that's hard to believe.
that
I
Gemini.
mean, everyone, you're charismatic and people like having you around, but you're not screaming for attention in a way. I don't know. Let's say I am.
Uh, there are
I think like you can come off as mysterious and aloof. I
yeah.
can too. I feel like if I'm not comfortable, like, or if I, couldn't give a fuck, then like I'm very stone faced, very aloof, have been described as intimidating. And then
You know what?
at other points I'm absolutely like off the wall.
You know what, Mish? My post-pandemic mood, the first quarter of the post-pandemic life,
Mm-hmm.
my mood is going to be aloof. That's I need to get a t-shirt that says that. That's gonna be me, aloof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be me.
That works in your that aloof is good. I feel like people are attracted to aloof people because they want to crack them.
Do you what is one thing you cannot wait to do when the pandemic is over?
Perform.
Perform.
I'm
Okay.
finding the nearest stage.
The nearest stage. What and I know some of the theaters, some of the places where you used to perform are now closed for good. So
Some, I would say all.
oh no, really?
The two main stages that I would perform on are both gone. Rest in peace. Some of the smaller ones are still open, so hopefully they're still there. But the ones that I really cut my teeth on and like you would go to see me, like the pit that you would go see me do shows at it closed a couple weeks ago.
What's the name of the one? It was the last show I went to. It was, I believe it was this year. I'm sorry, I'm saying this year. Last year. And it was huge. It was a bigger
That
like
was probably you. It was in Hell's Kitchen.
yeah.
That was UCB. That
Oh,
closed
that
at the
was
beginning of the pandemic.
you were amazing. That was so much
Thank you.
fun.
I appreciate that.
Oh, that was so much fun. Oh yeah. You know, like I know nights like that. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to see my friend perform, and then I'm going home, and you take it for granted. And now you're like, can I please go outside? Can I please
Yeah.
be around other people?
Oh, yeah.
um. So the hump. I listened to the most recent episode,
Which one?
and you all were discussing nudes.
Oh, yeah. Literally dropped today.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
listening to that while making breakfast. And if you don't know me, making breakfast and listening to a podcast is one of my
Heaven on earth.
favorite pastime.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's very if you're not awake and you want to be awake, you just listen to, you know, the hump. And like you all will wake me up.
Yeah, it'll get you nice and horny for the day.
I and I was just thinking while you all were discussing news, I was just like, man, what's the equivalent of this for guys? And I won't go in depth with it, but of course,
Reddit.
no. I mean, like, I have, you know what? I actually haven't been on Reddit. I actually haven't been on Reddit. I need to. I feel like that's where everyone's getting their stock information these days. But
I'm so scared of it.
but wait, we should go back for those folks that are
Yeah,
watching.
I was gonna say we should contextualize for viewers
We
slash
should
listeners.
contextualize it. So the hump, Misha Maddie will interview or talk to comedians about their sexual awakening. And
Yes.
Misha, I'll let you take it from there because I think it's a great show and I love listening.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's the log line. Like myself, it's called The Hump with Michelle and Maddie, not Mish and Maddie. I just want viewers to be able to go and find.
She's like,
that.
stop calling me that.
No. I love being called Mish. I just if you type that into Apple Podcasts, it will not come up. So yeah, we talk to comedians about their sexual awakening. So what that was emotionally like it's usually a piece of pop culture or someone in their life. And it's really great because sexuality is often something that people don't talk about, especially like by the time you discover at the time that you discover it, you don't have the vocabulary or you don't have the community to talk about it with. Like I think very rarely where people are like, yeah, I could very easily talk to my parents about it. And the fun thing, so that's one element of it, is that a lot of people are speaking about this for the first time, about this specific instance. And then sexuality also just leads off into so many other areas of people's lives because it informs so much, not just in terms of like what they look for romantically or sexually now, but also just like religion, like culture, their relationship with their family, like their sense of humor, like so many, their friendships, so many things stem from that discovery, that we have a completely different conversation with everyone. And the episode that you just listened to, like we just talked about taking nudie pics, which is a much more like contemporary discussion, but like so fun. Like, but we had never had that before with another guest, which is odd for how many episodes we've had. And it's really, really fun. Our guests are amazing, and all the conversations I find really, really interesting, and we've gotten a good response. So I think people are ready and want to talk about this kind of stuff and listen to people talk about it with a sense of humor.
Absolutely. What's been one thing you've learned about yourself during the process of making these podcasts? And it doesn't have to be anything like, I won't frame your answer. What's something you learned about yourself?
This is gonna sound okay. Actually, I'm gonna like toot my own horn for a second, but
do it.
Yeah, I very rarely do that, so that's fine. I'm gonna allow myself this indulgence. When I listen back to it for editing and like quality checks, I'm like, wow, I have a very good vocabulary. And I'm very articulate. And like, I knew that about me. Like, public speaking has always been my forte. But like, oftentimes like when we're talking about this stupid stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm not like a therapist or like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but like I am, I guess I just used to consider myself so much smarter. Like I think about, you read a lot, so you've probably like maintained your intelligence, but like, I feel like since college, I was always reading, like always in seminars, you know what I mean? Like always doing all of this stuff. And I felt so informed, and obviously like I'm an informed citizen now, but like, I'm not reading like theory-based shit now, you know what I mean? Like I'm not reading about like gender theory every day like I was in college and stuff. And so wrestling with these ideas in a formal capacity, and having to write it or verbalize it. And so I feel like I've gotten so much dumber because all I do now is like write emails, right, and stare at a screen, which is not the same intellectual stimulation that I did before. So like listening to it, I'm like, oh, I still have those skills, and like in terms of communication and like critical thought, they're just around different things now. And I bring those things that I learned in college and some of the stuff I'm bringing in now in, but like it's nice to know that like I'm not as dumb as I think I consider myself now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because so you know, I write a lot. I like to believe, and I read a lot. And the one thing that I noticed about myself during this process is when I'm editing, I realize that I don't do as well of a job of articulating my thoughts as I thought I did, which comes out very well in writing. And you know, like if I'm sitting down texting or even in public speaking situations, perfect. But for some reason, when I'm just riffing with friends, it just doesn't come out properly. Or it's the way that it's the way it is playing out in my head. So that's something I notice about myself when I'm going through the editing process. Why would you say that? Or stop saying this word so much, or stop saying that word so much. So yeah, that's something.
Well, now you're conscious of it and you can change it if you want. I think you should rest easy knowing that is the case for most people when they're just shooting the shit. They like aren't articulating things to the best of their ability. Or like when they sit down and really ruminate on how they're gonna form an argument.
Yeah. Is there someone that you haven't had on yet, and they may be a reach, but you would love to have them on?
Oh, like a comedian?
Mm-hmm.
Not that the people I've talked to are not comedians, but I think you mean like a celebrity comedian.
Yeah, or like just someone that you know that you haven't had on yet that you love to have on. It could be anybody. It could be within reach or out of reach.
Sure. I think for personal, because there are a whole lot of things like we get people for like marketing reasons and stuff too. You know what I mean? Like people who, so like I'll do devoid of that because I think that's a cop out. Um, I'd love to actually do the person that I'm seeing, like to bring on the person I'm seeing right now,
Oh.
because I think it would be really funny for Maddie to like interrogate them really intensely. And so like we had Maddie's current partner on, um, but like I'm friends with Maddie's partner.
Okay.
Like we all met at the same time. And so like that was kind of just like three friends talking as if, you know, on a podcast. I feel like the person that I'm seeing right now, like I think Maddie would go all in being
Oh my God.
like what did you think about Michelle this that, like I just think it would be so funny. And the person I'm seeing is very withholding and like
Oh.
I feel does not articulate. I don't think he was shy away from it, but like I think that like it would be my first time hearing a lot of the stuff too, just because like I don't feel the need to push him on those things that Maddie would. And so I think that would be really funny. With
Listen,
that in mind, that's not going to happen for a really long time. Like Maddie keeps asking it, and I'm like, no, like that's not going to happen. But I think like if that ever does happen, because
I'll
we
be
are
tuned in.
formally in a relationship, so I feel like maybe we would need to breach that before we bring him on. But like I think that would be a heavy hitter episode to be sure.
Listen, he would have to be brave because you all go in. So he would have to be brave.
Yeah, I doubt he's listened to one episode. So he probably like will go on and be like, this will be easy, and then it's not. Or
Um,
he'll fully say no. I could see him saying no.
has there been someone who said no and you're like, oh, we'll get them?
No one has said no. Knock on wood.
What do you think that says that no one has said no?
Oh, podcasts are easy. They're light lived. I don't think that says anything. I don't think it's like people are
Oh,
like,
no, no, no.
I
I
gotta
mean,
take this opportunity.
not the podcast, but the context of the podcast. What do you think that, because this is something that, like you said, some people are talking about this for the first time. So do you think is that they're comfortable with you all, that they've, that this is their moment to get it out, the pandemic?
Yeah, I don't know. I think comedians are used to a certain level of vulnerability.
Mm.
There's nothing more vulnerable than going up on stage and doing something that brings you joy and that you think is funny and you looking for approval. Laughter is approval. Like, you know what I mean? You're either pleasing people or you're not. So there's like that's why there's nothing worse than bombing and people are like, oh, people are so brave for doing comedy or whatever. Because I think to the normal person it's like that's very scary because you're like looking for that validation. You're either going to get it or you don't. But I think comedians are used to that, and a lot of the best comedy is what's most personal
Mm.
to you and what is most honest. That's why when people often tell jokes they will lie and say it's about them and not about someone else because it's funnier when it's about you, even if it happened to your friend. And so like they're used to a certain level of vulnerability, so I think that's an element to it. It's also comedic, so it's like and it's also done by comedians who respect that vulnerability. And when we reach out to people and like we send them the questions and we prep them, we say whatever is off limits is off limits. Like this should be a good experience for you. So I think it's the way comedians are conditioned. First of all, I think, and I think the people that are in our circle for the most part are not like are there just like certain comedians who are like a little bit more wild, I guess, or at least if they explore it they can be like intellectual about it if they want. So like I think there's a couple of factors to it, but I think it's just that we come at it from a place of joy and a place of funny that it makes people feel comfortable too. It's not like we're coming on to totally pathologize them, and if we do it's all tongue in cheek.
Um, we're nearing the end of our combo, and I'm dying to know the song that plays at the end of your biopic. See what I
The
did?
end of my biopic? Wait, I thought you said the last time was opening credits, right?
All right, opening credits, but we, I would
Damn,
if
you
you
really
can.
sprung this on me.
I did. For the folks that are watching, since we recorded already, she already had the answer to the opening. But you know what? No, do it because folks don't know. Tell me the opening.
Okay, the opening was I had two answers. So one was Like Sugar by Shaka Khan because it has that bass line.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Shaka Khan. So I could see that. And it's like has this kind of like fast paced hustle and bustle vibe, which was definitely me pre pandemic, right? Like
Yeah.
going through the subway, in and out of rehearsal spaces, you know what I mean? Like making deals, that was my life, shaking hands. So and then the real more authentic version would probably be like from the Annie soundtrack or some like dumb musical theater like used with ironic detachment. That is probably what someone who is directing my biopic well would do. But Like Sugar would it be if I happened to be executive producer because I
Love
would be
it.
trying to
I
produce
like
this
this.
narrative for
I was
myself.
listening to that when you told me about it the other day. I like it. I like
Do
it.
you like that song? It's a good song, right?
Yeah.
I love her.
Tell me. Oh my God, this was so good, and it just slipped my mind. This is what happens when I've been doing these all day. Um, it'll come back to me. God, it was such a great question. It was iconic, and that
It
was
was
gone.
iconic question. Are you mocking me?
No, it was iconic, and now it's gone. It's out my kitchen window. Like most of the things that I've had during the pandemic, they just leave me. Um, Mish, tell people where they can find your work.
Okay. Look me up. At Instagram at
Like we just had a moment where you know how when you're chilling with your friends in the living room and it's late and you just guys just
No,
like
I've completely forgotten what that's like. What are you referring? I've completely lost that sense memory. Over the past year. So sorry to say. What were you? We were hanging out in the living room. What?
you've been hanging out like you've reached the time limit of how long you're gonna hang out and everyone's just kind of looking around.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
um, where can people find your stuff?
Where can people find me? Think on that iconic question because now my interest is peaked. But you can find me on Instagram at robot noises, all lowercase, if that means anything to you. On Twitter at Meeshibee, Meeshibee. I have sketches on Hatched NYC on YouTube, so check that out. And then The Hump with Michelle and Maddie, the podcast that we talked about. And this episode of Milkshake Scholar is available on Apple and Spotify. So you can find it there and tune in.
Oh, Mish does a great mother with two horny children called Peggy. Is it Wagner?
Peg Wegger.
Peg Wegger. Oh, and it's on her Instagram, and it's really funny. When are we getting another Peg?
Here's what I should do. I should have people send me porn to review as Peg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you do a little browsing?
It's only right.
Okay. Why don't you come up with a curated list? You send it over to me and I will review it as Peg.
Oh my God.
Let me know what you're watching.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, Mish.
Woo!
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. This was a pleasure the first and the second time.
It was. There was something very natural and organic about that first run, especially the first minute where it was you putting your mic together and me just shouting, Mish, Mish, Mish.
Maybe you can supercut it.
Yeah,
I'll do that and then we'll to this.
I'll edit it in there. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You
and
too.
We'll talk
Enjoy
soon.
that milkshake. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
I'm about to get into it.
Yeah. And thanks for doing the Q&A the other night. You were awesome.
Oh, no doubt. That was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed it. And I love the film. Love the film. I watched
I'm
it.
glad.
I probably watched it 15 times.
Really? I'm gonna tell Tabitha. He's gonna be so excited.
No, he knows because I was sitting there trying to like get all my questions, and he's like, "Wait, you're still watching it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I get because I was so nervous. I didn't want to mess up."
Oh my God, you were awesome. You're such a good. I mean, that's why you're doing this. You're so good at interviewing people.
Oh, thank you. All righty,
All right.
dinner
See you
time.
later.
See ya.
Yeah.